everyone, myself Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to consider the beverage company, the Coca-Cola, which is a giant company both by the market value and the market share. If you are a fan of sugary drinks, then the Coca-Cola is a frontline company. It has multiple products available across the world, so no matter where you go, from Japan in the east to the US in the west, you will find the products offered by the Coca-Cola in the shelves of the stores across the world. But if we look at its financial performance, it has been kind of stagnant for last couple of years. Both its share price performance as well as its financial earnings haven't really changed much in the last couple of years. And if we look at the last quarter's earnings and also the full year 2023 results, there is not much of a change. There is slight growth in annual earnings and net profit, but if we consider the quarterly earnings and profit, there is slight decline. So it can be considered as a quarterly variation. Sometimes it is slightly up, sometimes it is slightly down, but nothing much. So it is a company with sticky market share. The growth is not there because I think it has reached a point of saturation, maybe that is impacted, and also there has not been really a big innovation in the taste or maybe in the composition which can expand the company's product offering. So because of that also its product line has been nearly the same. Sometimes it has launched the products like Coca-Cola Zero to appeal to the calorie conscious or even the people looking to lower their sugar intake, but it hasn't found much traction beyond this limited segment. Now we dwell deeper into the financial earnings for the last quarter. The growth is not really there. The revenues were around the same. We will have to now go to the income statement. This is the consolidated statement of income. The net operating revenues stood at US dollar 10.8 billion, which is 7% growth if we compare it to the same quarter, that is the fourth quarter of 2022. So in year on year terms, there is 7% growth, and the net income out of that is actually lower. So this is a case of higher operating cost, and this is also negative for the company. If we consider the operating income is actually higher, but there has been no addition from the other income, and instead there is loss from that side, and also the income taxes are on the higher side, and as a result of that the consolidated net income is lower by 3 percentage point to just little below the US dollar 2 billion mark. And if we look at the yearly performance, then there has been growth in the revenues which are up 6 percentage point, and also in the net income which is up 12 percentage point to now US dollar 10.7 billion. In yearly terms, if we consider the performance of the company for the whole year, it is quite satisfactory, and it can also be explained by the fact that there has been continuous upward momentum for last couple of months in the share price of the Coca-Cola. So to that extent, these better earnings, better revenues are kind of factored in the share price performance of the company. And if we have to consider that the outlook from here onwards doesn't really look that much brighter. I think the company is likely to hold its ground. The revenue, as expected, are not likely to change much. Might be a little bit of, say, 2 to 3% growth, and similar, slightly up or slightly down net income. So, this is a company with market share and the business operation, which is stable. But if you are looking for growth, then I think you will have to look elsewhere. The balance sheet is also quite strong. There is no concern regarding its going concern. There is a viable and sound business operation, as it has quite a lot of assets on the balance sheet, and its cash position is also quite solid, where it is sitting on upward of $12 billion in cash and cash equivalents, as well as short-term investment. So there is not likely to be any concern regarding the liquidity in near term, and also its total assets stand at US dollar 97.7 billion. The liabilities are being matched by that. Out of it, the equity attributable to the shareholders is at US dollar 27.48 billion. Now, if we consider the cash flow, where the company is generating cash and how it is spending it, how it is investing and using it for financing, then there has been decline in its cash and cash equivalents from the beginning of the year to the end of year. There is not much of an decline, but slight decline of around 1.5 percentage point, because it spent a lot more money this time around in the investment, for the investment, for the purchase of the investment, which have shot up from US dollar 3.7 billion to now US dollar 6.7 billion. So because of these higher cash purchase of investment, we are seeing that this net cash used in investing activity is on the higher side. But of these higher use in the investing activity is also being compensated by the decline of cash used in the financing activity, which now stands at US dollar 8.3 billion. The company has opted for dividend payments of US dollar 7.9 billion, which is a big amount for any company to spend. So it is generous in offering the cash back to its investors, and it is a value for the shareholders, and that is also one of the reason why this company is loved by the investors, because it regularly pays dividend, and that is also one of the reason for owning it strong, despite there has not been much of an increase in its valuation in last say 4 to 5 years. But it is a stable company with a large moat, in the language of Mr. Warren Buffett. Now we head to the technical side of the story, and this is the share price performance of the Coca-Cola. If you look at these peak established in the Feb of 2020, it was at 60. From there on, it lost almost half of its value in just couple of months, in these couple of weeks, not couple of months. But from there on, it recovered and went on to make a higher price in the second half of that year, and also in the first half of 2022. It was doing quite well, but from there on, it has entered into a correction phase, and continuously making these lower highs and lower lows. Time around, it made a low which is below this prior swing low. So we have now this slightly bearish tilt for the Coca-Cola, and unless its value again crosses below these prior swing highs, I think the near term outlook is likely to be favorable for the further short selling opportunities. So we can indeed adopt the sale on rally approach in the Coca-Cola stock as it recovery from the lower levels close to 50 now seems to be running out of steam, and I think after consolidating closer to this 60 mark, it is likely to start declining again. That is my expectation for the stock, unless anything dramatic development takes place and changes the trajectory of the Coca-Cola. If we are just going with the ongoing momentum, which is tilted on the bearish side, I feel after a couple of weeks of consolidation further, if it is not really showing any signs of strong move on the upside, we can indeed go for short selling trade closer to this 60 mark and expect the stock to dip at least towards 55 if not much further. So that's my longer term assessment of the Coca-Cola. Now moving to the medium term trajectory, it has been moving higher since the month of October, and in last couple of months it has gained ground. But as I said in my weekly assessment, also the candlestick where I was using the weekly time frame, in that time frame also I say that the rally seems to be running out of steam, and here something similar seems to be happening as on these higher levels closer to 58 to 60. The stock has been consolidating, stagnating, and it is not really moving much since the last week of December. If we look at its share price performance, it hasn't really changed much. It has been moving up and down since then, and that is not really likely to change much in next couple of days as well. So for consolidation phase, you can indeed try to make money as long as it doesn't really drop below 57 mark. I feel the near-term outlook can be utilized to go for the consolidation trade in which the scalping strategy can be applied, where you look to go for the long trade closer to these prior swing low and try to go for the sell, the short sell closer to these higher range. So now that it is showing these correction, and maybe if it declines somewhat closer to 58 zone, and if it holds the ground for a couple of sessions, we can indeed go for a scalping trade on the long side, and same strategy can be applied in the reverse direction when it again inches back closer to these recent swing high and doesn't really cross above that. So this is my kind of trading strategy which we can utilize for taking advantage of this consolidation phase in the medium term. The short term movement has been also tilted on the bearish side. If we consider this sharp move in yesterday's trading session, it is because of the earnings release where it first started to show the buying momentum, but it didn't really last much. And here we are looking at this Coca-Cola stock making a fresh swing low, dipping below the prior swing lows on these lower time frame charting of the hourly candlestick time frame. And in my assessment, it is likely to dip below the last week of January's swing low established close to 58.6 mark. So we do have to gear up for that possibility, and for that you can keep looking for the opportunities to short sell closer to the 60 mark, and as long as it doesn't really cross above this immediate swing high, we can be quite hopeful on the continuation of this downturn, and the dip towards this prior swing low and below that can be exploited with this short-term trading plan. So that's my assessment looking at the price formation of the Coca-Cola in the short term. And I would suggest that you keep an eye on these stocks per price performance for next couple of days for the medium term assessment. And of course, you will have to watch it hour by hour for the short term trading opportunities. And now it's time for me to sign off for the day. If you have found this session informative and useful for your trading and investing decision, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. You will also find equally informative sessions hosted by other trading experts on this Dukascopy Academy page. So do tune in for other webinars as well. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead, fabulous week ahead, and fabulous month ahead. See you next time around with equally interesting stock to work with. Thank you all for